After 3 days of national mourning, huge crowds are attending the funeral of the country's top general, Qasem Soleimani. The crush of people was so great that a number of mourners were killed in a stampede. Iranian media now says as many as 35 people might have died. Well, 62-year-old Soleimani was killed in a US drone attack on Friday at Baghdad International Airport. His burial in the home city of Kerman has now been delayed due to that overcrowding and the stampede. Well, the general was for many Iranians a hugely iconic figure who saw him as a future president. It's still unclear when Iran will exact the severe revenge it's promised for America, but a top Iranian security official said Tehran was considering 13 revenge scenarios. Born to humble beginnings, Soleimani emerged to lead the elite Quds force and masterminded Iranian foreign policy across the Middle East. He's credited with turning the Syrian civil war around when President Assad was on the brink of defeat. Let's just take you back to Kerman, the home city of General Soleimani. You can see the numbers are thinned out a little bit here, but according to Iranian state media, there was that stampede earlier. 35 people reported to have been killed, nearly 50 injured as well. Well, despite the strength of feeling in terms of the anger and the vitriol and rhetoric between the United States and Tehran, much of this on Twitter, President Trump says that he is unrepentant about that missile strike. He insists that American lives have been saved and that General Soleimani was plotting fresh attacks. A senior Iranian commander, Hossein Salami, has threatened revenge for the killing. Speaking at today's funeral, he suggested that General Soleimani would be very dangerous to America as a martyr.
We say to our enemy, we will take revenge. We will burn the places they love if they make another move. They know where those places are.
Well, that was at the funeral. And as I was saying, those threats and counter-threats continuing on Twitter. The US denying it and has denied Iran's foreign minister a visa to visit the United Nations in New York later this week. Javad Zarif had been expected to address the UN Security Council this Thursday. Speaking earlier, Mr. Zarif made this statement.
We'll see a resolute revenge in the right time and place, for sure. But hereby, as the foreign minister of the Islamic Republic of Iran, I want to send this message to the region that Tehran is still the anchor of peace and security and the pivot and axis of the regional development based on cooperation of the regional countries.
Well, that was Iran's foreign minister. Let's speak to Jia Gol from BBC Persian. When you see the pictures on state TV, it looks as if this man Soleimani was revered, an icon to the entire nation. I mean, that's not actually the case, is it?
I don't think so, but obviously he was popular. He was loved by so many people, particularly those people who were supporting the Iranian Islamic system. But in the same time, many people in Iran, they see him as an architect of Iranian policy in the region, and they believe Iran spent billions of dollars in those countries, invested in militias across the region. Those investment could have been invested in their future. If you remember, just a month ago, there was a mass protest across Iran. Even Reuters reported around 1,500 people may have been killed, but the number for sure, we could say actually 400 names out there being killed, and even they prevented the families to have a funeral. They buried their loved one in the middle of the night. The relatives of those people who were killed, they were arrested, so they wouldn't have a ceremony.
And who was behind that crackdown?
That, obviously, Revolutionary Guards, one of the main forces in the country. But don't forget, right now, we can't say actually Qasem Soleimani wasn't popular, but he wasn't. That's the fact. But in the same time, we can't exactly say how many people really loved him. Don't forget, in the past few days, the government shut down the schools, universities. Entire country is shut down. So if I am a student, I remember when I was in Iran, if there was any ceremony, my teacher would come and say, all of you tomorrow will come. I will across your name. So every single student, every government employee, every military personnel, they go to the street, and everywhere really shut down. There is a lot of crowd. But as I said, there are many people who love him, but many more actually, they are against his policies in Iran.
The big question now, though, is how is Iran going to react, and when and where?
Well, obviously, Iranian, if we listen to the rhetoric coming out from Iran, particularly from the Revolutionary Guard, the supreme leader, all of them, they say it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. We will hit, not once, not twice. We have the capability. But in the same time, you have heard Americans are getting ready for possible, a mass attack on Iran. But if you look at the situation inside Iran, as I mentioned, a month ago, there was a mass unrest in the country, economic situation, inflation, corruption. There's so many issues the government is dealing with. And if they go to war or attack the American and inflict casualties on American in a big number, America might respond, might hit the oil installation and crush the economy. That's something, in my opinion, is in the mind of the Iranian leadership at this moment.
Just take a step back, though. They said that they will now increase and carry on with their nuclear program. Does that mean that they will start enriching uranium quite quickly? Because that would be a red flag as far as Israel's concerned as well, wouldn't it?
I think so. I think the situation has become very complicated. Obviously, President Trump wanted to, send a signal, a clear signal to Iran. We do not tolerate your attitude. But right now, pulling out, they say we have no limitation to carry on with research. We're increasing the number of centrifuges in the nuclear program. So it seems to me, actually, Iranian send the signal, we don't trust you anymore. We do what is best for us. It could be, actually, also, but the Iranian never accepted they will enrich uranium for the purpose of military use. They say it's for medical and for commercial use. It's nothing to do with the military use. So if we are in this situation, we have to see in the next weeks and months what the European reaction would be, what Israeli reaction would be, and what Trump would do. You remember Trump yesterday threatened, he said, we do not tolerate a nuclear Iran, no way.
Okay. Giago, thank you very much.